one of our day one install stunts, all right, the repop, what we call jam, all right. You want to talk anything, you want to see how we do things, you want to break down film, I'm happy to do it all right? So do not hesitate to use us as a resource. We will help you in any way we can. You guys are giving your time and efforts back to this great game. We'll try and do the same for you in any way that we can. I also recruit the state of Maine, all right? So do not hesitate to reach out to me at any time, all right? We've got a prospect camp in April. All of your guys are welcome, even if you think they're not academically going to go to Bowdoin, but you want them to come work with some college coaches, kind of hear a different voice, do some different things, send them on over. We'd love to have them, and we'll help in any way we can. All right? So as we get into it, I apologize, this is going to be a little blurry. I just put it up there, all right? This is jam, our jam play. It's a day one install for us. It's a great first and second down call for us. All right, you might have heard the term read pop. This is what that stunt is. I'll talk about our positions to start. You're like, you got some funky numbers up front there. All right, we call our two defensive ends the Viper and the Hybrid. All right, the Hybrid's going to get sent to the strength. The Vipers are going to get sent to the weak side. The reason we do this, gentlemen, is we play two stand-up defensive end, hybrid, outside linebackers, right? What you typically see at the defensive line position at the Division III level, it's hard to get 4 true defensive linemen, right? Those hybrid types, there's a little bit more of them. We use it in recruiting. Say you're going to drop back into coverage, they get to go home, tell all their friends that they're playing outside linebacker, when really they're just playing defensive end. We just try and make it sound a little bit cooler when we're on the phone. All right, so that's all that is. Our two inside guys, all right, we call the end and the rush. The rush and the hybrid will always travel together. All right, our end and our Viper always travel together. Okay, so the Eel Jam, our read pop. All right, so we'll start on the strength. All right, our H. All right, he is in a 10 personnel set, none attached. He is our edge rot player. Rot is just read on tackle. All right, he's keying that tackle for his read. Because there is no tight end over him, we call it an edge rot, just meaning that tackle goes down. He sees that tackle goes down. He's our quarterback player. He's our edge player. Right? He's going to box everything, keep everything inside. Should pass show up, he has a two-way win on that tackle. So he gets heavy kick set on that tackle. He can win outside, he can win in, all right? But really, we want him to cross face, win outside. We want him to set it up. He's in a 2-point stance. We want 1-2 hard upfield, rip across that tackle space, get to the inside, all right? We want his aiming point is the near inside shoulder of the quarterback to maintain our rush lane integrity, all right? So that's what he's got. If pass shows up, like I said, edge rot should he see run. So that he's keying that tackle comes to him, boom, he's right into him, all right? It's right at him, right now. He can then cross face down, he's playing the quarterback, all right? My rush, all right, my rush is in a shade. We can run this stunt out of multiple fronts, all right? We can set it to a tight end, we can set it to a back, we can set it to passing straight, we can set it away. It's very, very versatile to us. It's whatever we think works best that week. Game plan dependent, all right? Game plan dependent. So our rush, A-gap player. Simple. Line up on the center. You are an A-gap player. Should you see run? Doesn't matter if he goes away, he comes through, doesn't matter. You are aiming for the outer half of that man, trying to get great physical penetration in that A-gap. All right, we want him to be a presence in that A-gap. Should he get past, all right, he is our torch player, meaning he has outside contained to the strength side. Now, shade, torch, can be a long way to go, okay? We want him to play run, react to pass. This is a run call for us. This is a first and second down call. Now, it can be very effective versus pass because you'll get some natural twists there, okay? So really make sure the offensive lines that play us next week are working their twist game when we're not really even working this as a true twist with a pick, all right? He is in there, and then he's getting out and around when pass shows up. A lot of centers in our league, I'm sure you deal with it as well, are going to quick set that shape, right? Man on, you're going to get quick set. Can be a little bit of a muddy read. That's all right. We're okay to him getting the torch late, all right? We want him to play run first. Last thing we need is him trying to get out quick for the pass and getting gashed in the A-gap in some sort of gap scheme run, right? So take care of that A gap first, react late to pass. We good there? All right? Our end has what we call a go technique, all right? What we call a go technique. And I will be the first to tell you, I needed to change how I was teaching our guys this past year, so we've tweaked the rules just a little bit, all right? He's in a three. He's in a three. He is chasing the outside shoulder of that guard, trying to get vertical penetration in the B gap. We want him to cut the field, all right? He is our cut the field player. If pass shows up, he is our cage player, all right? So he is our outside contain to the opposite side. We want him to get outside contained through that B gap if it's possible. We want him to, his main focus to be a great get off on the ball, get vertical penetration in that B gap, all right? To the point where even if pass shows up, he can close off the outside escape lane through the B gap. Now that will not always happen. I'll be the first one to tell you that, all right? And when I explain the Viper's technique here in just a minute, all right? This is our re-pop side. That Viper will be popping inside, all right? And when that happens, if the Viper's to pop inside because he's got the tackle kicking to him, the first thing that offensive tackle does is try and close down on that end, right? The last thing we want to happen to this end is he's got to know if pass shows up, so he gets heavy set by that guard, all right? He's got to know that Viper's going to pop inside him, which is going to bring the offensive tackle down onto his outside shoulder, okay? So he's got to feel that. If he has not done a great job off the line of scrimmage, getting penetration in that B gap, and he still feels that he's on his side of the line of scrimmage, he's got to know that tackle's going to come, try and pin his outside shoulder as we get a natural twist with our stunt, okay? And he's got to wipe and get to the outside of that tackle so that we don't have a free escape lane for the quarterback out into the boundary. And I will be the first one to tell you that is something that we struggled with at times this year. Our guys did a good job with it. It was just a little inconsistent. So just a little bit of the tweaking in the coaching so that we feel like we can get better results from the end in passing situations, okay? Now, the read pop for the Viper, all right? Our weak side end, he has the read pop. The read pop is a simple read of the tackle, all right? Simple read of the tackle. The reason that where it differs from a rot is where he's popping to. So if he gets face two from that tackle on his read, he is folding into A gap. Right? We're trying to cut the field with that end, with that three. He's going to fold in, trying to force anything back to that open A, trying to steal gaps. Okay? In pass, all right? In pass, if pass shows up, obviously he'll get face two as that tackle kicks to him. Up the field for 1-2, put it in the ground, come back underneath, excuse me, and he's still got his loop through in the end, okay? He is an inside shoulder rusher of the quarterback, all right, on his side. So he never wants to get pushed past the center, never get pushed back past the quarterback. His aiming point, all right, that inside near shoulder, same side of the quarterback, all right? He is an inside rusher, should pass show up. Okay? Now, a couple variations. Obviously, this is 10 personnel. All right, this is 10. So we have an edge rot where we're going to need to box everything back in, and we have a read pop on the other side. That tackle goes away. All right, that tackle goes away. He is a box player, obviously quarterback player, game plan dependent. All right, we've done anything from mesh charge, we've squeeze surfed, right? Surf the edge line of scrimmage, whatever is beneficial for you. All right, that's that is what you should install that week. Okay. The variations to this, as we get down into 11 personnel, right? That read pop becomes a soda. And what's the difference between a read pop and a soda? A soda gets spilled. That tackle goes away. He's closing from behind the line of scrimmage. Any puller to him, right? He's got to spill it. He's got to spill it. Okay. Same thing on the other side, right? Instead of an edge rot, if he's got a tight end over him, he's just got what we call a regular rot, meaning that tackle goes away. He's got to close that B-gap, either with that tackle's body or with his bend from the tight end side, spilling any puller that comes to him. So just a little bit of different terminology there, just to communicate that to them, the difference in their technique, the difference in the blocks, the difference in the spill. Any questions so far? Yes, sir.
Talking personnel-wise,
Yes, sir.
What are you looking for athletically for each of these positions?
So our most athletic guy this past year is definitely our Viper, right? He's the guy that we drop into coverage a little bit more as an untraditional drop guy, okay? Your rush is going to be your nose. Just think your stereotypical mean, plugged nose guard, all right? Our end is our most athletic interior guy. He's got to be able to play a little bit of both. He's super athletic, probably a little bit lighter than our rush, but quick hands, quick feet, it can get penetration on the inside, all right? And then our hybrid, our hybrid probably is probably about 2 cheeseburgers away from being a rush, all right? I say that, he's joking. He's athletic, can still drop a little bit, all right? Can still drop a little bit, but real heavy hands, real heavy punch. He's the guy that because he tends to be to the field, the way we set things, he's the guy that tends to deal with a lot of pullers, right? They're gonna pull at him, so he's gotta be able to spill, he's gotta be able to box, be a real physical presence for you on the edge. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else? All right, let's get to the good stuff, all right? The best way to learn about it, in my opinion, is to watch the film. Okay, so you can see my 3 here to the field, or here to the boundary, all right, the right side of the screen. What I'm telling him is I don't want him to hesitate off the line. He's trying to hesitate to set up his hands, okay? We want him, what he does do a great job of is getting vertical push in that penetration, all right? We got phase 2 on the edge. My A-gap player, my shade, does a great job. Make sure we hold that A-gap. He gets a little bit nosy, peeks back inside too early, but make sure he closes that A-gap. At the end of the day, we tell those guys you have to be in your gap. If you tear off, you better make the play. All right, there's no guessing when you're on the interior. 49's got a tight end over him, so he's got a true rot. He sees phase 2. Goes into the B-gap a little bit, which is allowing our linebacker to flow right now and get a nice clean read. We're able to money it up. Creates an easy run-through window for our linebacker, which forces it into the mess. 1-yard gain. Now, what I'm telling my Viper here, let's go to the read pop. This is phase 2. You can see him trying to pop. We didn't deliver a great blow with our hands, right? He does not wipe. He gets too engaged with that tackle so that when he goes to get back inside, right, he's a step later than we like him. A step later than we like him just because he's got locked onto, but you can see the lane where we're trying to force him back in the flow, all right? This obviously is money. We're saying we're forcing because of all this moneyness, it back into this. It won't bounce because of our go. We're going to cut the field, and he'll be able to fill right into that A-gap as an unblocked player if we do a great job with our hands. Okay? One of the number one things people have tried to do to us this year, as this was one of our predominant calls as you scouted us, QB draw, QB run, all right? That's trying to get the extra hat, trying to remove getting 10 personnel, trying to remove our backers from the box, and try and run the QB. Good news for us, like I said at the beginning, right? Versus this team, we knew we wanted to mesh charge, okay? So there was no sit and squeeze. We wanted to run straight at the quarterback if we felt we were getting red. So you'll see this tackle go down. We send a mesh charge right at the quarterback, all right? That changes nothing for my interior player. He's still just an A-gap player. Great hands in his gap. Try and close that. They pull the guard. My go technique takes 2 for 1 here, all right? They've really got to do a great job. Gap seal hinge on this backside. Because of his speed off the line, we're able to really occupy that tackle, which allows my read pop, reads this as a down block, and he's able to go. So we're able to wreck the front. Quarterback run, we're technically right on paper. They've got an extra half. The movement and physicality is able to take care of it for negative gain. Now we're trying to set up a little tight end screen here. Once again, mesh charge. We see down block here. That gives him the green light because of game planning situations. He's able to mesh charge straight at the quarterback. My rush on the inside. Reads pass, all right? I'd say he reads it a little quick. He gets scooped. I would love to see him laying hands on this center, right? I need A-gap presence. I don't need him scooped. All right, but he does read his pass, gets out into his torch, right? Trying to make sure we have edge contained. My 3, my go technique. Better here. They read this as hi-hat pass. They're getting pass read right now, okay? So you see the 1-2 is before he folds inside. This is a great understanding of this technique that I was talking about in the past. He understands that because he's coming back underneath, this tackle is going to come down and try and pin that outside shoulder, right? Knock the twist back. He doesn't allow it to happen, does a great job with his hands, gets through his outside, doesn't get pinned inside, and now we've got contain. Should the quarterback try and escape to that direction. Quarterback hit. Eyes right in his face as he's trying to dump it off, and check it out. Nose guard on the edge, keeping one of the best athletes on the field in the pocket. Now, had he stuck his foot in the ground, try and go around, I'd make no promises, but we were there, okay? Here's a great example. We'll start on the left side of the screen this time. Okay? 1-2 in a read. Here is great penetration through the B gap from our end, cutting off the field. All right? This is an example where pass has shown up, but he has gotten penetration to the point where he is behind that tackle. All right? So as that tackle is coming to pin him, he feels like he's won, so he continues to fight through. He's saying he can win this and cut off the quarterback's escape lane through the B gap, all right? Now, what if he gets to this point, quarterback got out, he looks at me and he says, Coach, I read run, so I stayed B gap. I can't argue, right? Remember, we are calling this to stop the run, and then there is a pass component to it, but it is a run first call. So if anybody looks at me as we're running this and says, Coach, I read run first, it was a little muddy, I stayed in my gap, I didn't get out, that's something we gotta live with. And that's okay, all right? As long as they have a football answer for it, a true football answer. And you can see the pop come around, does a great job here on the outside. 1-2, pressing it vertical, allowing everybody to set. Center almost oversets a little bit. He comes back around, center's now off balance, looking to climb, right? They're trying to set up a screen, fits right in that A-gap, and he comes home. A-gap player, little nosy here, right? Maybe he feels this is run. I would say as he's looking, he's quite high here. Pretty standard, right, if I'm being honest, for big threes here, it's okay. Gave us everything he had, all right? Little high, he sees this. I would expect him to cage. Once again, his football answer is going to determine how mad I'm going to be at him in meetings. But we don't want him late to that torch just because the way we're setting it this week, right? That is the field. Right? That is the field. Pass set to my hybrid, right? My H. He gets phase 2. I would love. We told you he had a two-way go because of that torch. All right. The reason we call it a true two-way go is he lands hands. He knows he can win. I'm not telling him he has to cross phase here. He's won. He's coming off the edge. He's beat him. He feels like he can get to the quarterback. He can still close that B gap as he gets by that tackle. We have seen, all right, so far, QB draw, pass game, right? A little bit of zone on that first clip. Here it is versus power, all right? Gap scheme action. 3 is set to the tight end this week. My go has a great presence in that B gap. Gets hit a little bit by that tackle, does a great job sticking his arm out, getting his foot in the ground, blocks him out, and having presence in the B. That tackle goes down. All right? I would love to see a more physical collision here. We get our butt kicked a little bit here, right? We get widened. There's the gap that it's supposed to be. But because of the penetration in the B gap, this looks muddy. And a high snap, right? Let's not lie. Right? He has to make a quick decision, right? Here, which we still have linebacker flow to fit that gap or bounce back the other way. We're able to make a mess. Three-yard gain. Great job. Great job here, all right? He gets read hand, good physical, hand placement, hand separation, holds the edge, make sure he's got his outside arm, he keeps his hands alive, rips off the block, finishes the play. True outside zone, all right, rip and run. Immediate phase 2 for my Viper here, and you can see him flow, all right? That A-gap is changing where it is. It's coming to him hard. He does a good job not overrunning it, popping right in that A-gap, making sure he forces it all the way back. Not a great get off here by my 3 shade, right? Great recovery, however. He's able to, right now, this guard has his hat outside my guy's hat. Exactly what we don't want to happen, right? His main objective has to be in this B-gap, trying to cut the field to force everything back to the integrity of the play. This should be a great play for us versus this exact call since he gets to where he finishes, okay? He is able to get in that B-gap, press the field vertical, right? Hard on staying on the outside shoulder of that guard and make things muddy for that running back so that he can't get to the outside, he sticks his foot in the ground, and he has to come back. All right? You see a great job, as I said to start, by the Viper as he flows back inside, he sticks in that A-gap as it's moving with the center running to him. All right? He slips. All right? He should be in a position to be able to keep his feet and make this play as it should flow right back to him. But on the backside, quarterback, my hybrid, all right, checks quarterback and is able, because we force it back so much because of the flow and because we cut off the field, we're able to force it all the way back to our quarterback player, folds back in, makes the play with our mind. All right, 20 personnel, 10, 11, now 20, okay? Great catch all for us. Now, game plan specific, all right? I'll be the first to tell you we had a little game going on the backside here. They got into 20, they got into a lot of different personnel without necessarily changing who was on the field. Once again, that made it so that we had to be able to call things all right, that were great catch-alls for us. Jam, this repop stunt, being one of those calls. We'll start on the repop side, all right, so starting on the left side of the screen, you can see phase 2 by the left tackle. Triggers an immediate pop, right into A-gap, does a great job tracking the back. All right, doesn't overrun it, comes back, thinks it might go back with puller, all right, he can feel the flow, but does a great job not overrunning his gap. Everything gets forced right to him. He fits right in that A-gap where they're trying to fit the ball, okay? My 3, forgets how to use his hands here, all right? Doesn't land hands, he's in the gap, but he does a great job making sure he has a presence in that B-gap. I need to see him separate and tear off this, rip a back arm, literally anything other than just wearing it right with his hands in his chest, right? Not great technique by him, but he does have a presence in that B-gap. He keeps fighting to get forward to at least show color, making sure that ball gets inside. All right, move on to my shade. Stays right in the end, right? Solid hands, a little high but pressed. His body is in the A-gap, making sure if he tries to declare there, he's pushing it where we want it to go. That's all we need him to do. Our linebacker here, all right, and our hybrid have switched responsibilities because of the 20 personnel, all right? This is a game plan decision. You make it your own, do with it what you need to. Split back, we had a pretty good idea what was coming, all right? So they flip, they keep him on the edge, he calls his own number in the B to get a run through to fit it, where we force the ball exactly where we want it, back to our popping viper, back into that A-gap, to the defender that we're buying back. More gap scheme, okay? This time, let's start on the right side of the screen. Tight end over him, changes his technique slightly, right? He's now got that soda. He's gonna spill any puller. Double team versus a go technique, all right? True gap scheme, double team versus a go. Because we are so focused on the penetration of the B, there are times, right, that double team can be hard. What we tell our guys, okay, as you are pressing for vertical penetration in the B-gap on the outside shoulder of the guard, all right, if you do a great job with that give up and a great job with that hands, you will automatically get the tackle and the guard at different levels. So as he lands hands, all right, he feels that immediate true gap scheme double team. I want him to land hands, he's vertical, by his vertical penetration, he has already split the double, all right? So I want to see him land hands and then get skinny, right? Press that guard and box out the tackle in order to split the double team, okay? How do I, you coach basketball at all? No? Okay, so the old box out drill, you put a trash can there, right? You throw your butt back into it. I want the same thing. So as he lands hands, he fires, boom, he feels it. I want him to get skinny, turn his back to the tackle, and then it's just throw the butt hard to create that separation. So the way we practice it, we get him on the one man sled, they're firing off hands, and then I will literally just set up a trash can. So they'll have to fire hands and then fire the butt and knock over the trash can, just so they can work on creating that separation. And surprisingly enough, even though it's just a trash can, you've actually got to generate a little bit of something to actually knock one over. All right, so we want that violent kickback, violent push, and the separation between both creates the space that we're looking for, and how we defeated the double team. Absolutely. A-gap player on the backside. And then you can see my rock player folded in here, all right? He reads flow, quarterback back two, so he knows he's not getting red, so he's able to chase. All flow takes him that way, all right? He ends up a free player as he knows he's able to flow for free. all right? So we're able to take up 2 blockers with our go. We have 1, we buy 1 back because of the way they run this. They insert, quarterback goes back 2. All run action, negative play versus gap scheme, right? We were also able to do this at a little bit different personnel, okay? They're running true outside zone. Right here, we are screwed. They've got everything they want, right? We didn't do a great job on our shade. We're scooped. My 3 didn't do a good job. He's scooped by the tackle, right? Now, obviously, play's not over till it's over. You can fight back into great position. But on paper, right, they've got everything they want right now. Because of the read of the tackle, we're able to get great face 2. He folds underneath. Everybody keeps playing, and we're able to buy 1 back. He folds underneath, spills the puller. The lead blocker, canceling what should be that open running lane from us getting scooped. And our quarterback player is able to close it down from the backside because we were able to buy 1 back and eat a puller. Yeah, so this for us was different personnel. So this is a linebacker for us, all right? So they were going empty, 3rd down. In our 3rd down situations, we like to bring an extra linebacker, bring off a defensive lineman. If they were to hurry for whatever reason, we felt that linebacker was able to play that 3 technique because it is just that go technique, trying to cut off the field. We thought his speed neutralized it, so that's why he's up and kind of angled like that. It's an unusual position for him, but something that we felt that he could do very well for us. Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Now, like I said, this is a run call for us. The good thing is, if pass shows up, all right, we do get the double twist on both sides. And this is exactly how it should look. All right, let's start on the left. 1-2, he reads this as hard kick. I would say that's high hat as high hat gets. My go technique, realize he doesn't have good vertical penetration in that B gap. He's active with his hands. Doesn't get pinned by that tackle, make sure he gets all the way around. All right, my shade. Good job initially, making sure that A gap is closed, reads this as pass. High hat, gets out to make sure we get the torch. All right, into the field, my 2-way go. He's working, he goes 1-2. Would love to see him as he presses. Now finish that rip instead of getting that involved with that tackle as he goes. Would love to see him finish this rip here and really rip off into the quarterback. But because we have that torch coming around, he knows he has a win on that tackle. All right, he has a win on that tackle. But it shakes out. We're able, right, get double twist out of a run stunt, come home with 4. Great execution by the guys. All right, at mid. Count. Start on the right, all right? We're able to spill this all the way out because it is 11 attached personnel. All right, my go technique, you can see taking up 2 blockers, right? We want him in that B gap. He gets skinny. They're not really able to move him, all right? Forces everything wider.
Coach, when you switch the skull back, once he makes contact with the inside shoulder.
So once he makes inside, we want him to run through with violent contact through that inside shoulder, rip his backside arm to get presence inside, to spill everything outside. We do not try and avoid at all. I know some techniques talk about avoid ripping to get inside there, to just get your body inside, to maybe give yourself more of a chance to be a playmaker. We want it to be a violent spill through contact, all right, blowing up the puller to make sure that second puller, right, counter's probably, not probably, counter is a lot more popular in our league than power is, all right? Knowing that second puller's trying to get around, we want to blow that up. That initial shot to his inside should bubble him a little bit, and a lot of times we found if we're able to create that contact, that second tight end can't then get around and pick up that extra flowing backer that even though they say log a spiller and all that, we found that getting around that is harder, all right, than trying to box it. So that's what we teach. We teach through the inner half of his body, the inside shoulder, rip that backside arm to get presence in the inside gap. But we want it to be a violent contact through that pulling. Absolutely. And we're able to flow all the way back around. All right, my one. Good presence, good physical, all right, knock back on the inside. The gap seal hinge, I will say, all right, for any of these tackle reads is something that you will have to rep, all right? As we rot, with our rots, our read pops and all that, one of the more complicated ones that they get, right, is that hard step inside. They read as a down block, right? And then they kick violently back to the outside, which is really phase two. So they kind of see both things with their eyes. That is something that just has to be repped so that they get used to it and understand when that is coming. All right, it is something that every now and then would get our guys. They did a great job continuing to rep it by the end of the year. I would say they had a real great understanding of it. I've got to do a better job making sure they understand it early and what's coming with it. So that is something to be careful with. I'll tell you right off the bat. All right. Spring ball is back in the NESCAC, gentlemen. All right. For the first time, they finally cleared us. This is our spring ball schedule, and I'll email it to any of you that want to come. You are welcome. You, your players. I'll tour them around myself. You guys are welcome to any of these practices. This is an open invite. All right. Tell whoever you want. Bring whoever you want. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. Okay. Especially the Wednesday. I know the Wednesday ones are early, right? 6 a.m. But if you want to come into the office, talk about what we were doing. More than welcome to sit in. We'd love to have you. It's a great chance for maybe you guys to bring a couple of your players to campus so you can see what college, so they can see what a college practice looks like. I'll give them the college tour myself right afterwards. We'd love to have you. Please come by. We're super excited to have a spring ball schedule. There was a couple after COVID, then they took it away, but we're jacked up to be playing football in the spring. And the only thing that can make it better is would be having you guys and your kids around. So please come see us. All right. This is my personal contact info. Cell phone number, email, Twitter. All right? Hit me up anytime. If there's anything I can do for you, I recruit the state of Maine. I am happy to help in any way that I can. Do not hesitate to reach out. And I'd love to talk to you, whether it's just talking X's and O's or talking about some guys in your program or something you want to try and do. Man, come on. Let's talk. It's the only way the game gets better. Thank you so much for sitting here, guys. Any questions? Yes, sir.
So you talk about some blocks you have to just get rep out when you're talking about that backside hit.
Yep.
In general, do you have in your mind like how many times a week in preseason and during the season where you're blocking just block where you're repping block recognition?
Yeah, so I think it comes down to a couple things. Like I don't have a set number in my mind because that changes every week, right, based off what you're gonna see, right? But what's gonna happen is it's gotta be repped in Indy, right? It's got to be repped in half line, and then it's got to be repped with the full unit, right? That whole situation, right? We're going to talk through it. I'm going to show it to them on film. I'm going to see it. I'm going to install it. We're going to rep it in Indy, right? And then I'm going to make sure they get it probably a good 10 reps of it throughout the week in a team setting if it's something that's a mainstay for them. Counter is a mainstay, right? Knowing that we're going to get that gap seal hinge block on the backside, right? So if counter is their number one run play that week, I'm making sure they see it probably at least 10 times in a full team setting before we go. Any other questions? Guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be around. Don't hesitate to stop.